Hi, I'm Tom Serb, Director of the Midwest Music Academy. In today's video, we'll look at the history of sharps and flats. If we go back to the early Middle Ages, the only pitches we knew about were the 7 letters of the musical alphabet. All of written music from this period used only those notes. Early church music was monophonic, which means it had a single melody that was unaccompanied. At some point in the early Middle Ages, a music director decided to split the choir, having half of the choir sing the melody and the other half sing the ending note as a drone note. This created 2 sounds at the same time, which we now call harmonic intervals. They found 2 intervals especially pleasing, the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth. The next development was to have half the choir sing the main melody and the other half sing the same melody, a perfect fourth or fifth, higher or lower. This was called fixed organum, and it was described in 2 9th century music theory texts, the Musica Incuriatus and the Scholia Incuriatus. Chanted hymns typically ended on one of 4 notes, D, E, F, or G. If a chant ended on F, and the second part of the choir was singing a fourth higher or a fifth lower, it would end on a dissonance that was unacceptable. So the last note was adjusted to make it sound more pleasing. This resulted in a tone that was not part of the musical alphabet. This practice was called musica falsa or musica ficta. By the 11th century, we were using the terms B quadratum, or square B, to describe the B from the musical alphabet, and B rotundum, or round B, to describe the altered B note. If a composer wanted the round B, they started writing that in the music before the B note. If a composer wanted all of the B's flat in a piece, they would put a round B at the start of each line. These eventually developed into our key signatures. The square B was used if a B flat note was to be raised back to B. It's believed that a penmanship error led to the natural symbol we use today. The square B and round B are also responsible for the use of H in the German variant of the musical alphabet. The natural symbol looked a bit like their lowercase h. This is from the book Musica Instrumentalis Deutsch, published in 1529. Once the B flat note was available, composers started using it. This created a new dissonance between B flat and E. A new adjustment was made, and we started using the B rotundum symbol in front of an E note if we wanted to adjust it. Because we didn't tune instruments the same way we do today, composers stayed close to the original musical alphabet. It took several hundred years to discover the other black key notes, A flat, D flat, and G flat. We can think of the black key sounds on a piano as falling in between the letters of the musical alphabet. The sound B flat falls between A and B. We can think of it as B that's been lowered a little bit, but we could also think of it as A that has been raised a little bit, and we would call this sound A sharp. Many reference books attribute the invention of the sharp symbol to Josquin des Prez, a 15th century French composer. I found this in reference books going back to the first edition of Grove's Dictionary of Music and Musicians, published in the 1870s. One of the interesting things about music history is that we don't know what we don't know. Today, many libraries and universities are digitizing their collections and making them available online. I've probably looked at more medieval music manuscripts in the past 4 days than Sir George Grove was able to examine in his entire lifetime. This is a motet written by Philippe de Vitry in 1315, more than a century before Desprez was born. I've found a number of other 13th century French and Italian songs that also use a sharp symbol. So my best guess is that it originated in the secular music of Western Europe in the late 13th or early 14th century. But as I said, we don't know what we don't know. And what I don't know here is when this particular manuscript was created. Many copies were made after the fact, before the invention of the printing press. In the next video, we'll look at how we changed the shapes of notes to represent rhythms. Until then, I'm Tom Serb from Midwest Music Academy.